Welcome friends, let us see about Bruner theory of cognitive development.
Jerome Bruner was an American psychologist from New York City. He was born on October 1, 1915.
He had more interested in cognitive development and also he had more desire to know about children's cognitive development, children's way of thinking, children's imagination power and way of representation.
So he made research and wrote a theory. Before we enter into the theory, we should know about what is cognition.
Meaning of cognitive development.
Cognitive development is the construction of thought process, including remembering, problem solving, and decision making from childhood through adolescence to adulthood.
Definition of Bruner's cognitive development.
The term cognition is derived from the Latin word cognosce, which means to know or to recognize or to conceptualize.
Cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses.
Now we will see the four important features of the theory of instruction.
In 1961, Bruner has suggested four important features of theory of instruction.
They are predisposition to learn, structure of knowledge, sequence, and reinforcement.
First, we will see about predisposition to learn. Predispose means liable before the event.
This theory is concerned with the experience and context which will tend to make the child unable to learn when he enters the school.
And the second one is structure of knowledge.
It must prescribe the ways in which a body of knowledge is to be structured so that it will be easily learned by the learner.
And the next one is sequence.
A theory of instruction should specify the most effective sequence in which the learning are to be presented to the students effectively.
And the last one is reinforcement. A theory of instruction must specify the nature of rewards from moving extrinsic rewards to intrinsic rewards.
The developmental aspects of Bruner's theory centers around his interest in cognitive development.
According to Bruner, cognitive development is the interaction between concept formation, that is through early experience, and concept attainment, that is through a number of strategies.
Next, we will see about three modes of representation.
Bruner emphasized the following three modes of representation in a developmental sequence.
They are enactive, iconic, and symbolic.
The first mode is enactive representation.
It is from the birth to 2 years. This is similar to the first half of Piaget's sensory motor stage of development.
The child has little in the way of mental faculties, so thinking is a physical action.
Knowledge is what the child can manipulate or do with movements.
For example, tying knots, pointing, etc.
It emphasizes learning through action as learning to ride a bicycle.
Now we will move into the second mode.
The second mode is iconic representation.
It is from 3 years to 7 years. This is similar to the second half of Piaget's sensory motor and pre-operational stage of development.
For the first time, the child has mental images that allow it to retain pictures. Drawing is now possible.
It is learning through visual images. It is based on representation through perceptual images. A map permits us to follow a route from one place to another place.
And the third mode is symbolic representation.
It is from 8 years to 14 years. It is learning through languages.
It is an added and a powerful method of translating an action and imaginary into language type.
For Bruner, symbols include words, music, numbers, and so on. Anything we use to symbolize something else. The precise timing of this one depends on the child, particularly its language ability.
For the first time, the child can categorize, think logically, and solve problems.
Now let us see an example for enactive representation.
There are different approaches to make the children of different ages to learn the concept of balance.
Children aged below 3 can learn the concept of balance if they are interpreted with the functioning of seesaw and make them experience it. Two children of different weights are placed in the seesaw as shown. where the child of lighter weight would naturally slide back to achieve the balance.
But in the second figure, the balance is maintained because both the children have the same weight. This mode of representation by providing experience to the child is known as enactive.
Now we can see the example for iconic representation. The same seesaw example.
To make them learn the concept of balance for children of the group 5 to 9, it is enough if it is explained through a model.
Followed by, we can see the example for symbolic representation.
Action and image are replaced with symbols and language in the third stage of symbolic representation.
The balance and its arms are described verbally through symbols.
There is no object or image or picture here. Instead, there are only symbols and letters of the alphabet to denote things.
Dear friends, today we have discussed about Jerome Bruner theory of cognitive development and its types.
We hope that you are clear about Bruner's theory of cognitive development. See you in the next video. Thank you.
Thank you.